Hello everyone, this is Xander Giron, and you might be wondering why you are looking at a video of a plastic tote and my dog and the floor. Well, that's because I don't feel like making an actual video today. So instead, I'm doing something I've been meaning to do for a while, and that is organizing my collection of military surplus and other random junk. Hence why the plastic totes. Fortunately, I don't really have a very good recording setup in general, but especially for actually filming things, not on my computer. So I'm literally just doing this on my cell phone. So that could be interesting. And, so also, since I don't have anything to hold my phone, I'm having to do this one-handed. Meanwhile, my dog will keep you company. He needs more walks, as you can tell. So getting things started, I'm just gonna grab something. Actually, not quite completely random what I'm doing. I'm mostly going to be starting with helmets. This is not really an actual helmet, it's just a M1 helmet liner. Pretty basic. And the reason why I'm starting with the helmets is because since they're kind of bulky, they're going to be determining how exactly things fit in the totes. So that's that. Next up is a Yugoslavian helmet. It's I'm blanking on the name. It's a M59, M85, something like that. It's kind of like a mashup between an M1 helmet, a Soviet SSH-40, and a German-style helm. And yeah, it's not a bad helmet. Has a bit of adjustability in it. The liner, as you can tell, is very much based off an M1 helmet. And yeah, this one, as you can see, saw some sort of service, either during or after the Yugoslavian Civil War, hence why the star is painted over. Go. And next up, we got a M1 helmet. This is, as you can see, has a bunch of things on it. It's a Austrian M1 helmet. Get a good look on the inside. Has a plastic liner, or the liner body's plastic, and then the stuff is all leather on the inside with canvas chin strap. The camouflage net on the outside is a Belgian one. Got an awkward grip on it, sorry. The band is a Cat's Eye Ranger band. Oop. Flipped over so you can't really see it at the moment, but on the other side there are the reflective things. But I'll flip it over. Yeah. My dog is making noise and flailing around because that's what he does. Probably wants me to pay attention to him, which I don't blame him. And yeah, this has the reflector bands on it. And then the helmet cover, I really overdid it. It has a camouflage net with, a bunch of stuff on it. And then it also has an American M80 Woodland helmet liner, or a helmet cover. Or M80, M85, whatever. Something like that. US Woodland one. I think, if I recall correctly, this helmet liner, I don't actually think it's an M1, or meant for an M1 helmet. I think it might be meant for a PSGT helmet. I could be mistaken, though. And yeah, there we go. And then, honestly, the stuff that's on is just some, whatever, random camouflage cloth, kind of an M80, or US Woodland pattern. It's only really camoed on the one side though, so it's not great. And then it's just some camo yarn. Pretty basic. And does this fit? Ooh, not really. Where's my lid? Or, nope. Not quite. Now, I don't need it to be a perfect fit on the lid, just because I'm not planning on stacking these things up. I'm just putting them under my bed. So it doesn't really matter if it doesn't fit quite perfectly, but that's sticking up a bit much. So I'm going to have to put this guy in a different one. So in that case, I'm just going to fill up the rest of this with random odds and ends. What do I have on hand? I have a bunch of stuff here. Move the helmets out of the way. See, I have a French, what is this, F2 hat. Or Bigueux, however it's pronounced, I can't remember. This is literally just a fabric hat with a neck flap. can also get them without the flap. This is the desert camouflage. I can't remember what the French camouflage is even called. Anyway, I can go on. Literally some German shoulder strap. Came in a pair. I used the other one on a bag. Oh, here's something. Not really military surplus. This is a Glock M81 knife. If I can get a close-up of the logo there. Focus. Oh, almost focused. Kind of hard to do this when I don't have a hand to put it there. There we go, Glock. Oh, and then you might be able to hear my cat wandering around the back. Anyway, yeah, it's just a pretty basic knife. The M81 is based off of the Glock M71. Kind of awkward to open this with one hand. There we go. And basically the difference between the two is the M81 has the sawback. The M70, the Glock M, yes, the M81 and the M78 or whatever. Glock knife, that's what most people call it. The flat back one, or the non-sawback one, the original one, is actually in use with a couple militaries, notably the Austrian military, because Glock. This one is not, however, in use with any militaries, to my knowledge. And yeah, it's pretty basic. If I recall correctly, the military pattern ones have a different handle or sheath material. Scabbard material. I could be mistaken. And yeah. Really not designed with one-handed use. There we go. And we got something else. Oh, what is this? I think it's a shovel. Yes, it's a shovel. Oh, my dog did not like the sound of that being pulled out of the box. Yep, this is a Soviet shovel and trenching tool. It's kind of put that there to get it shot. Not a particularly long thing. Has this cover. It's kind of like a faux leather strap that holds it on. I don't know. Did the Soviets use pleather? Oh, sorry. Trying to avoid getting anything but my hand in shot. Cover it off. Go. This is a relatively recent one. It says 1980, or oops, if I have it the right way around. 1988 manufacturer by the looks of it. And yeah, it's pretty basic. This is not one that I've purchased. It's actually one of my dad's co-workers gave it. I gave it to my dad, who then gave it to me. Don't know if he meant directly for me or just gave it to my dad because whatever. And yeah, because he, I said my dad's co-worker, he actually served in the Soviet and then later the Russian army. Specifically, he was in the Airborne, and I think specifically he's also the Special Forces at some point. Bernie has a bunch of fun stories in relationship to that, but I won't get into that now. And yeah, pretty interesting. If I pause the recording so I can put the cover back on properly. And yeah, but yeah, it's pretty basic entrenching tool. You know, Soviet, don't need much. Wooden handle, metal thing. It's a bit loose. But that's probably pretty simple to tighten with the screws. I don't know. And yeah, I'll just pause the recording here and be right back. Alright, and what else do I have? Any other fun items? No, I think I just got helmets here. Yeah, just helmets. Alright. That means I need to start grabbing from a different bin. And what do we got? Here we go. Here's something. Oh, it's a plastic bag. That has stuff in it. Alright. Apparently it's got hair on it at some point. Because of course, even though it was in my basement where none of my pets go. Okay. This is a Canadian C7 bayonet frog. It's kind of a pals type thing going. Or mole, whatever you want to call it. Not quite interchangeable terms, but people use them that way. Molly, however it's pronounced. And yeah, just a bayonet frog. You put your scabbard in there. You know, hooks in there. Pretty basic. What else do I have in this bag? And it looks like a canteen cup. You can feel it. Making a bunch of noise. Rattle, rattle. And yeah, that is a US canteen cup. I don't think it has any dates on it. It has somebody's name and a serial number by the looks of it. Or a manufacturer serial number. Yep, there we go. Also hold it the right way around. Yep, fun. Yeah, literally nothing really much else to say about that. It's a canteen cup. the bag away, don't need that. And what else do I got? So, here we go. Here's a fun one. This is a Swiss STG 57 bayonet, if I can get it all entirely in frame. And yeah, fun one. Yeah, Swiss STG 57, also known as a SIG 510 or a P57, depending on what market and who's made or who's being sold to. It's a pretty mean looking bayonet. Or it depends, I guess, you want to define mean looking. You can get out the its scabbard. There we go. Yeah. And it has this almost medieval dagger look going on to it. It's actually not sharp on, well, that's obviously not sharp, but like where you think it'd be sharp, like a double edge or a double, like a dagger type thing, double blade, double edge. Can't speak. Actually, it's not sharp there. It's only, I don't know, it's not really even sharp towards the tip. It's mostly just worn down there, so it looks like it's a bit sharper. It's really just a stabbing implement. Then, if I recall correctly, I actually, when I forgot this, I actually did do some research to see, like, you know, what is it made out of and whatnot. And, I don't know, I didn't find anything official, but it seems to be either made out of some sort of high chrome content stainless steel, or it's basically like some sort of mild steel that is chrome plated, or chromium plated, whatever. So really not something you can sharpen. Yeah, pretty cool. Can't remember who made it, because these were made by a couple different companies. One of them was it? Yeah, that's it. Sure, yeah, it has the V, which I call correctly means it's made by Victorinox, or if it's pronounced, yeah, aka the makers of the Swiss Army knife. And yeah, and I think that's the whatever arsenal where it's assembled or something. Got some lovely fingerprints on there. Also has some wear on it from just the scabbard, because it's only held in by, actually I'll just show it to you. It doesn't have anything really retaining outside of just friction from the metal collar there. And this is the, yeah. And there's a couple different patterns of frog that are used. And scabbard one was like, if I recall correctly, the very first ones were very similar to the Swiss Schmidt-Reuben bayonet scabbards and how they attached. But this one's obviously not one of those. Anything else? Oh, my other bayonet. Here we go. I think I've shown this in a different video, but yeah, this is my Canadian C1 bayonet, used on a C1 rifle, and on a C1 submachine gun that also had a bayonet lug. And yeah, pretty basic thing. It's not in the right, I got this off eBay and it just came with this frog, not the correct one. I have a correct one kicking around somewhere. It's shorter, doesn't have this thing here. This is a C7 bayonet frog. Anyway, so this one, if I can get it up. Once again, if it's not actually attached to a belt, it's kind of obnoxious to get it out of the frog, especially one-handed. Also trying to avoid showing off everything. No, it really does not want to come out. Yeah, that's my experience with this thing, is if you don't get it out in one clean stroke, it just doesn't go out. Yeah. Now this one, unlike the other one, actually is sharp. So, or it has an edge. It's not really, it's pretty dull, but you still want to be careful. As well, I didn't point out, but on the Swiss one, the scabbard is in plastic, except for the metal collar, or choke, or whatever. This one is all metal. Hear that? And yeah, this particular bayonet's not in great condition. It's kind of, you can see it has some rust. That's just some pitting on the handle there from acids from the skin. That's why you don't want to touch, like, especially like proper high carbon steel swords, you don't want to touch the blades with your bare skin, because the acids in your skin are bad. Bad for metal. Alright, so just for posterity's sake, I got it out of the scabbard. So yeah, there you go. Has a whatever Bowie style knife, clip point blade, whatever. Pretty basic. The handle on it's kind of short because, you know, bayonet, not really meant to be used like, you know, like a knife or anything. Like it can be, but really it's meant to be stuck on the end of a foul. And yeah. No, not really going to get into it because, yeah, there's a couple different patterns of this bayonet. There's the C1 and the L1. They're all very similar, just really just detail type things like the fuller shape and geometry, or the assembly pin on it shape. And once again, I can't. No, it doesn't want to go back in the scabbard. Such is life. Yeah, like this thing has some sort of like retaining thing in it that keeps it from just sliding out. So it can be kind of annoying to get it out one-handed if it's not on your, if it's not attached to like your webbing or anything. And at this point, I'm out of small things to grab immediately, so let's see if I can fit this thing in there. Come on. It's gonna be hard to get this thing in shot. Whatever. So yeah, it's hard to tell, but it is or for the most part, it's a US LBV-88 or whatever. Load-bearing vest enhanced, more enhanced load-bearing vest. It's from the late 80s, early 90s. It was the intended successor to the Alice webbing or system. But it was basically this stuff was pretty quickly superseded by Mole. I'm laughing way too much in this. Pals. Yeah. Anyway, pouch attachment ladder system, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's kind of like a vest webbing hybrid type thing. On each side, it has 2 magazine pouches. One will hold 1 magazine, the other will hold 2. So 6 magazines on it. It also has a grenade pouch, 2 of them, 1 on each side. As you see, I have attached it's not really a American belt. It's I think these ones were manufactured either in Taiwan or South Korea. Kind of more of I don't even know if they're really a military thing, more of an airsoft thing. But whatever. Dimensionally, they're the same as an Alice belt. So yeah, I think even attach an Alice pouch to it. Yeah, I have a bunch of these things. The magazine pouches, Alice magazine pouches. If I can open it, there we go. I have some that have no divider, some that do have the dividers. These ones are meant to hold 3 magazines for an M16. I think they also fit 2 M14 magazines. And also have a kind of a ratty canteen pouch that has some random bit of foliage on it, and that's lovely. So yeah, it's just a US canteen pouch, nothing really much to say. As I said, didn't really mention it, but this vest itself is not the original version of it. This is the enhanced one. The base, basically the big thing is it has mesh. Mesh was lighter, more breathable. Also has the pouches are slanted. The original one, it's all vertical. And no mesh. So it's kind of twisted up now, but if I can show the back, it is it actually uses a different butt pack than the regular Alice webbing, because basically how it works is basically the pouch thread, it sits here, it connects onto the belt, if I recall correctly, but also has webbing loops that go through here to connect it. I obviously do not have one. Not exactly easy to find. And yeah, call that. Anyway, take care of that, and I think that's really all for. I cannot speak today. That's all for this tote. I might shove some more things in there later, rearrange it, but move on to the next tote. All right, here's the next tote. Put the M1 in it. Shift the things around, so hopefully you won't be seeing my hairy knees or my feet. So there's M1, and the next thing. Next one is not an actual helmet. I can get it out of its bag. So yeah, it is not an actual helmet. It's just a resin, airsoft helmet. Has the world's worst suspension. Well, just has foam pads on the inside, and then the chin strap and whatnot is just obnoxious to manipulate. It's fun. So yeah, guess I'm gonna put this back in its bag and then get it in the tote. Alright, so those are taken care of. And I have a couple more helmets. I don't think they're gonna fit in this tote though. They're both pretty similar. One is Polish, one is Czech. I actually can't remember which one's which. Not in particularly great shape. This one's okay. I think, no. I don't know, one's a bit more gray-green, the other one's a bit more of a green-brown color. I think the more gray one is Polish, or is Czech, and then the more brown one is Polish. And, yeah. Really not much to say. It's based off, basically a bargain bin Soviet SSH 480. Like, those things cost, like, trying to get them, like, nowadays is like 50 plus Canadian dollars, if you're lucky. These things, what, the Polish one was like $13, and the Czech one was like 18, 19. So yeah, they're not in great shape though. This one, like I said, this one's not the worst off. The other one's pretty grouty. But does it fit? No, it does not. That's a shame. Then again, it's not like the M1 fits. Like, it's actually like taller than the tote, so it doesn't fit particularly well. But regardless, next thing. Oh, got some webbing. This one, oh dear, it's partially disassembled, so it's going to be even more awkward to manipulate. Alright, so this is a Canadian Pattern 82 web set. Yeah, it's a bit dirty from paintball. Sometimes the oils from the paintballs do not come out very well. And yeah, so this was replacement for the Canadian Pattern 64 webbing or whatever, which is not well received. Like I said, I got this from paintball. So basically these pouches here are meant for the, whatchamacallit, C2A1, so the squad automatic version of the C1 rifle. So basically, it's basically a FAL with being fed with 30 round magazines. Had a bipod though. Had a bipod. I think it had a heavier barrel as well. And it was select fire, unlike the C1s. Or most C1s were semi-auto. If I recall correctly, the C1s that were issued to the Royal Canadian Navy were select fire, but I could be mistaken on that. And yeah, they're pretty basic pouches. Hold true magazines. They have a divider in them. So yeah, one for each magazine, and then it has a pull tab. It's kind of hard to show when it doesn't have anything in it, but yeah. Just pull it, and then there's a little fabric loop that will pull up the magazine, or push it up. This is interesting just because of how it attaches. If I recall correctly, the German webbing from like the late or the West German webbing from the late 80s, early 90s used a vaguely similar system. Basically uses these metal grommets here. I like how my dog responded to grommet, that's just funny. And then on the pouches you have Velcro loop that goes around, but also the primary way it stays on is with these little plastic tabs that fit in like that. It's kind of obnoxious to try and get it on and off to get moved pouches, and as you can see, the grommets like to fall off. Like, this webbing's missing probably like half of its grommets. Fortunately, the pouches will still stay on even without the grommets. Not as well though, but since it does have the Velcro, it helps a little bit. But then again, Velcro is really not the greatest for keeping things on webbing. And yeah, really not sure what else to say. Has a there we go. Has a butt pack on it. This is I think an older style butt pack. Has a pretty basic. Has a little drawstring closure on it. It's basic. This is definitely a marked improvement over the webbing it replaced. But I don't know how great it is in the grand scheme of things. That's up to people who have more hands-on experience for me to decide. All I know is that playing paintball with it, it was actually pretty comfortable. It has this, nice padded yoke. Even this one's a bit, bit worn out. It still works quite reasonably well. And then also the the wide nature of the belt also means that, and also this webbing's meant to sit a bit lower than most webbing, more around your hips than your waist. So it just gives you better weight distribution, and it just makes it more comfortable. And yeah, I guess I'll quit rambling about this and put it somewhere in the tote. Maybe see if I can cram some more stuff in here. Be back in a moment. Alright, so I got that kind of crammed in there. Might work out, might not. Oh, what else? Okay, this is a belt. It is a Swiss brown leather belt. I made a mistake when I purchased this one. I clicked the wrong size, so it's too... on a regular pair, like a regular pair of jeans, it just barely will work for me. So yeah, I'm probably going to get rid of this. Because yeah, I have a lot of junk here. Like, there are people who have, you know, have vastly more stuff than me, but I'm thinking, you know, I really don't need a lot of this junk. I collect it, you know. Because I like collecting, like, the history on a lot of this stuff, and also I use some of it for paintball, and if I ever get into airsoft, I guess I could use it for that, but So yeah, this, it's whatever. You can just deal with that later. Next thing up, it's a hat. It's another French hat. Probably should have stuffed this in the other tote. Might do that off camera. And yeah, it's the same as the last one, as the last French hat. Same pattern, same pattern of hat. Exact same style of hat, just a different camouflage pattern. More, you know, a woodland forest type thing than a desert one. Just toss that there. Another hat. I actually have two hats like this. Neither of them fit. I got one that was too big, and then one that was too small. That's the joys of buying things online. If you don't, because everything fits a bit differently, and if you screw up any of your measurements, things might not work out for you. So I'll probably wind up getting rid of these guys. I have two of them. This is the 60 centimeter one. 61. Yeah, I'm probably more of a 59 or a 60. I don't know. I think it's a pretty snappy hat. And yeah, there's the smaller one. And then I have this one. Also, once again, made a mistake with the sizing on this guy. It's just a German tropical hat. Only has the pin on the one side, or button on one side to pin up. Other side has nothing. And yeah, this one just barely too small for me. Needs to be just like a centimeter or more bigger around, and it'd be probably just fine. It's kind of hard to get it on a frame. There we go. Yeah, it's just basic tropical hat. And I think that's enough for this tote, so I'll move on to the next one. Alright, so yeah, pattern 82 webbing really did not fit in that tote the way it was, so I just took it out for now. Might just shove some other things in there. So yeah, here's the helmets. So yeah, I think this is the Czech one. They're wide helmets. And then here is, I think, the Polish one. It's a bit smaller. As you see, it's liner, once again, not great condition. Could be better. And yeah, really not else. They're very similar to each other. And yeah, you should be able to see that. I think first we'll have them facing in different directions, so that's not helping. As you can see, the one is a bit bigger than the other. I'm pretty sure this one here is the Polish one, and then this one's the Czech, but I could be mistaken. All I know is that handling these things makes me want to wash my hands. Alright, next thing. Oh, this might not fit either. I really did not plan this out. Anyway, this is the... there we go. As you can tell by the absolutely god-awful camouflage pattern, it is Belgian. Belgian jigsaw. It is a... can't really tell from this angle, but it is a Belgian fragmentation vest that has had its protective material replaced with just some padding to make it look like it has something in there. So it has no protective properties whatsoever. It's just a padded vest. And I'm thinking I might hang this one up. Hard to say. I don't know, only other really thing to note with it is that these loops here are meant for attaching Alice clips and pouches. Yeah. This one's not in particularly great shape. As you can see, the camouflage pattern is the camo's pretty faded. So it actually is almost practical as camouflage now. And then the other thing to note is that it's not in great, like I said, not in great shape. It's missing one of the, I can open it. It's missing like a Velcro patch or something somewhere. It's part of its closure. But yeah. Anyway, not really a whole lot else to say about it. Pretty basic. Yeah, there it goes. Flip this panel over. As you can see, it's missing one of the Velcro closure patches, but you know what? I have a bunch of extra Velcro, or hook and loop, if you want to get, you know, non-trademark friendly, or trademark friendly. And yeah, I have extra, roll of that, so if I really wanted to, I could try and stitch on anything to replace that, but that's missing. That's just, I'm thinking I might hang this up in my wardrobe or closet. I have both kind of separate from each other, because I have a bunch of other things, like a lot of, basically all my uniforms are not going in the totes. I like all the combat shirts, pants and whatnot. All that stuff is just staying out, or is being either folded up in my dresser or hanging. So I think I might hang this guy as well. Just move that out of the way and put it somewhere where it's not going to be in the way. Bad day to wear black socks, apparently. Alright. Okay, so I have a couple of these things. These are German, obviously, Electron, as you can tell. I have a couple of... these are just some cheap aftermarket adapters for the German webbing. Because basically this German webbing is completely, the attachment system on it from the 90s or whenever it's used. It's kind of a bit out there. So nothing really works with it. Kind of like Pattern 82. So I have a couple of these that I got for like a costume and general usage, I guess. I don't know, I don't really use them much. They smell funny. So yeah, get that in there. Yeah, they're obviously a butt pack size thing. There's the other one. They're identical. They have a shoulder strap if you want to wear them like the satchel type thing. I guess I can show the inside. They have drainage holes on the bottom, which is nice. And then they're rubberized on the inside. And they have a couple of interior compartments. Two on the side and then one main one. Pretty basic pouch bag thing. Big too. I think the idea is that you could wear like one of these on your web belt, and then the German webbing also has the attachment points for these things on its yoke, so you can wear one on your shoulders to kind of like a ghetto combat. Yeah, there we go. Ghetto combat pack or something. Alright, what do I have next? That's literally just a paintball thing. It's from a paintball vest that fell apart that my dad had and he replaced. This is an air tank pouch. Pretty basic as they come. It's not particularly big. I don't even think it can fit the carbon fiber tanks. I think it only really properly fits the aluminum ones. But whatever. Oh, something else from that same vest. This is just a basic paint bod carrier. Has two and more random bits of plant matter on it. Yeah, it has two pod pouches on the side, pouches, and then it has another two on the inside. These things are kind of obnoxious to use, though. You know, they're kind of there as backup if you really need extra paint pods. Okay, that's literally just an Alice magazine pouch. This one's with the dividers on the inside. Yeah, yes it is. Open it up a bit. Once again, sock covered in animal hair. And yeah, this has some basic dividers. You can cut them out pretty easily. They just connect at the top there. Not a lot to say. It's Alice pouch. I have a bunch of them. Not really sure why I decided to buy so many. There's another. Oh, look, more webbing. Another one of those. I think I have another 4 maybe kicking. Or not, I have 4 in total. Here we go. This is an... there we go. This is an M1 helmet cover. I think it's a Korean War era. Just olive drab. Pretty basic. Nothing to write home about. Couple of bargain bin knee pads. Just basic padded ones. I originally got these for paintball, but I keep forgetting to put them in my paintball bag, so every time I play paintball since I got these, I forgot to use them. That's why they look almost brand new. And I think that might be all she wrote for this tote. Or do I still have one more Alice pouch I can shove in there? Yes, I do. Alright. Yeah, once again, another Alice pouch. Oh, what's this? Oh, another thing from that paintball vest that fell apart. I'm not quite sure what exactly this was originally for. I think it might have been for like a hydration bladder. I know it kind of has it's almost like a dump bag except useless. It has Velcro at the top that keeps it closed. I've used this on my various websites I've kit bashed together for paintball, just to, like, because you can fit a couple pods in here. Really not a great idea. And yeah, that's about it for this tote. So I'll try and get this closed and have more stuff, because everyone loves stuff. Alright, fresh tote, and since I'm not putting helmets in there, I can really load it up, even though I could have been more efficient with my other totes with the helmets, because I could put the things under them, but whatever. Alright, next up, I have a web set. This one, once again, I don't have it displayed very well at all, and I don't really have any pictures on hand to show you. It is a Swedish web set. And yeah, it's actually this thing's like relatively recent. It's like this thing's like from the 80s. It looks more like it's from the 60s. But yeah, it's again, conscript army. You know, you're gonna have relatively basic, simple, idiot-proof equipment. They're not padded straps, shoulder straps, but they're wide, so helps with the weight distribution. Comes with my website came with 2 pouches like this, and these things are designed to fit like 4 or 5 magazines. And for what? Whatever the Swedish version of the FNC is. It's like the AK5 or something. Also came with this here canteen pouch. This is a Swedish one. It's, in terms of the design, it's very much modeled after like a US style one. It's just smaller. It's because the standard Swedish canteen is like 700 milliliters instead of the 1 liter, 1 quart US style canteen. So yeah. Anyway, that can go in there. I did buy that pouch just to shove on it for fun. That's why it's a different color. And then the webbing set itself, or the belt itself, is if you want, you can stick Alice pouches on it. It is narrow enough for that. The pouches themselves don't use Alice style attachment. Just have these. It's kind of hard to show because of the thing, but yeah, they just have these metal things that the belt goes through. That's very descriptive, very useful. All right. Next up, I have Pattern 82 pouch. This is the Pattern 82 kind of utility pouch. This one's old and worn, as you can see. It does have that, but basically all the magazine pouches have one of these, and that's just for the shoulder straps to go to. Give you better weight distribution or something. This one is actually, if I recall correctly, a relatively rare version. Basically, there's 2 versions of this. There's the original one that kind of lacking in bells and whistles, and it's just a regular utility pouch, mess tin pouch type thing. However, in the mid-'80s, when the Canadian Forces adopted the FN Mini-Me as the C9 light machine gun, they needed a thing to put all the belts for the Mini-Me in. So they adapted, basically just modified this thing to fit 200-round boxes for the Mini-Me. Or C9, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that's really about it. Well, like I said, this one's just pretty worn. Next up, another Pattern 82. This is a Pattern 82 gas mask bag. It's meant to be worn in a couple different ways. You can either wear it on the webbing itself, or it also has a shoulder strap. Or, that's not the shoulder strap, this is the waist strap. basically you just wear it. There you go. Kind of like that. You know, just wear it over your shoulder, satchel style. I think they typically wear it under the webbing, keep it handy. And that's all about that. Ooh, a spider. Let's hope none of those got into my webbing. They probably did. Anyway, that's that. I just have so much stuff. I have my other original tote I kept this stuff all in, but it's not big enough. Here's where all the fun stuff begins, but not really. This is just some random thing I threw together. So just a Alice, or not even Alice, it's like a pattern, or a US M57 shoulder strap, I do believe. I don't know, this thing is a very generic H strap with a can't believe it's not an Alice belt. That's about it. Oh, here we go. This is a Canadian pattern 82 shovel carrier, entrenching tool carrier. There's two different lengths of this. This is the big one. There's also a shorter one. Really, not much to say about that. A bit dirty. Never got around to cleaning it after I got it. That's just some yarn. This is like the same camouflage yarn that was on my M1 helmet. Oh, here's something interesting. The single worst chest rig ever devised by man. That is a Canadian pattern 64 chest rig, also known as the Mag Bra. It was meant for the C2A1 gunners. Carries 4 magazines, obviously. And yeah, really not a whole lot to say about it. Just kind of awkward. And apparently it was not very useful because if you're in a prone position, it's hard to get the magazines out of it. As well, according to some people on an airsoft forum, it is not particularly useful for AK-47 magazines. They're a bit too long or something, just because of the curve. And what do we got here? Okay, this is a pattern 82. This one is a C7 magazine. There's basically when the pattern 82 webbing was first adopted, the Canadian Forces were still using the FAL, and I think it was in 84 or 5 they adopted the C7. So basically an M16. Modified M16, yeah. So this is the C7 pouch. The C7 magazine pouch holds 2 magazines. Basically, it's identical to the C2 pouches I had earlier. Yeah. Has a divider in it, pull strap. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah. It's a basic magazine pouch. You can't mess it up. Nowadays, it's maybe not the slickest thing, or at least closing it one-handed is the most obnoxious thing ever. Opening it's pretty easy because of the, it's a nice decent pull strap, but just trying to get the loop through, the webbing through the loop to close it is obnoxious if you're doing it just one-handed. I'm sure with practice it's better, especially if it has stuff in it to give you some sort of resistance, but whatever. What do I have next? Oh dear, not this thing. Oh, hey. Yeah, and this is the sheet of fabric that I cut up for my M1 helmet. This is... I just blanked on saying this is a Canadian knife, fork, spoon carrier. It's a cutlery thing. Basically, has a pouch on the top. There, it's hard to see. And it unwraps. And that's basically what the Canadian knife, fork, spoon set would go in. Kind of a thing that's kind of all together. And then on the outer pouch, that's where the, I can't even remember what it's called. It's Camillus knife, multi-tool type thing. Pretty basic thing. It is based off a US thing that, and there's some of them are marked, made in the US, some were not. Marked pattern 82. This is a C1 magazine pouch. Holds 3 magazines. Obviously, the C1 is just the Canadian designation for the sterling. I think there are some differences. This one has some whatever random plastic boxes in it to give it form. Has pouches. Smells funny. All military surplus has a funny smell, but the pattern 82 stuff in particular, oh boy, that's something special. And it's like all the pattern 82 stuff. It's just whatever is treated with has a very distinct odor. Oh, this is a another C1 magazine pouch, C1 submachine gun. This thing is getting a bit full. That is, oh, this. So yeah, if you ever wondered what the magazine divider in a C2A1 pouch looks like, that's what it is. I cut it out. Turns out not necessary. Bit of a waste. I did not like doing that. So when I found out that it was a completely unnecessary thing to fit a paint pot in the C2A1 pouch, I was kind of upset because I destroyed like 4 of them. Okay, not already destroyed. It's just I modified them. I didn't really like doing that. Anyway, this is a pattern 82 pistol holster for a Browning high power. It's a bit dirty because I accidentally left it on my webbing when I went paintballing one time. Here, yeah, it's pretty basic. Has one magazine pouch. Has a little side pouch for an oil tube right there. Pretty basic. Okay, so yeah, here's what a C1 or pattern 82 C1 bayonet frog looks like. It's basic as it comes. Not a lot to say. Here's a loose, and this is just a C7, the same one that was on my bayonet, or C7 bayonet frog, same that was on my C1 bayonet. And this is, if I recall correct, this is a pattern 82 magazine pouch. I think, or this one is, I think, is a C7, and the other one I showed was a C1. I don't know. They're all very similar. Nope, another cutout thing. And I think that is, oh my god, it's another, actually this is not an Alice pouch, or actually yes, this is an Alice pouch, or something related to Alice. It's very, very basic. Some sort of US pouch. Anyway, that's all she wrote for this tote, so I keep saying that, all she wrote. Who is she? What is she writing? Yeah, move on to the next one. Alright, and this is the last tote that I have. I have 5 of these things. And I guess if I actually need more, I can fit more onto my bed. And these things are like about $10, $11 each, so not horribly expensive, but not the cheapest thing ever. Anyway, besides from that, oh dear, this monstrosity. This is a pattern 64 web set, not partial, obviously. This is what the Canadian forces used for the bulk of the Cold War. It was not well liked. Mine's kind of dirty. I never cleaned it properly after playing paintball. That was really bad of me. As for what I have on it, not a whole lot. This is the mess tin pouch. This is the shovel entrenching tool carrier. And then this is a grenade pouch. It's meant to fit like 2 whatever M61 derivative grenades, but it doesn't really fit. That's why this thing's in pretty rough shape. Just cram the grenades in. And then on the bottom, this loop, if I recall correctly, is meant for, it's either the grenade launching adapter for the C1 or it's like a cleaning kit, something like that, depending. Pretty basic stuff. It's not good. Everything is held on by Velcro, so things will slide around. They'll fall off. If I recall correctly, Canadian soldiers tend to just tape it down. And then the straps themselves are, these are an inch wide, so they're, if you have any weight on this thing, it's just very heavy. As well, one of the fun facts with this stuff is that they never actually made any magazine pouches for it. All the magazines were carried on the soldier's combat shirt, because the combat uniform the Canadian forces adopted at the same time they adopted this had the way the pockets were designed. They're meant to fit a C1 magazine, C1 rifle magazines. Of course, they didn't actually really come up with any effective way to carry the C1 submachine gun magazine pouches, so they just kind of had to cram them in somewhere. If I recall correctly, a lot of soldiers preferred to keep wearing the older pattern 51 webbing, pattern 52 webbing. Can't remember the exact name for it. Basically, is a derivative British pattern 37 webbing, but worse somehow. And also green, olive drab, whatever. All right, one last Canadian pouch. This is a canteen pouch. Really not else to say. Pattern 82. There's a canteen, and I think it's a US canteen. Yep, just 1 liter canteen. Really, it's as basic as it comes. Though, as you can see, this pouch is a bit bigger than necessary for this canteen. Obviously, canteen cup is a thing as well. Once again, I can't get the damn pouch closed one-handed. As well, there is the Canadians also had a thermos-style canteen for use in the Arctic. And that's actually an interesting thing I didn't mention when it came to using some of the Canadian webbing in the Arctic. That's one of the problems with the Canadian Pattern 82 webbing, is that this plastic here got very brittle in the cold and was liable to break. And if I recall correctly, the plastic fittings on the Canadian, like these, there we go, these things also got fragile in the cold. Alright, and next up is some British stuff. Here we go. This is, obviously, Desert DPM. This is from a British vest that I got off of Veristelica. It's actually a really good deal. It was basically got the vest and like 10 different pouches or whatever. It was like just under $50 Canadian. Not a bad deal. The vest is a bit big. It's meant to be worn over body armor. So someone my size, like I'm not a small guy, but I'm not the biggest guy ever. So it's a bit loose fitting. But hey, it came with a bunch of pouches. It works. It's PAL's. What is this? This is a utility pouch. Yeah, it just came with a random variety of pouches. What do I got here? Water bottle pouch. Alright, next pouch. Another utility pouch. Yeah, if I recall correctly, this is called this type of closure is called like Spanish fly or something. It's just pretty basic. There we go. Bit stiff. There we go. Just pinch it and yeah, come out. And then it's also held on with Velcro. Oh, this is getting really bad camera working worse. Yeah, just basic Velcro thing. Since the utility pouch, it does have the drawstring sock. This is some replacement Alice clips. Grenade pouch, I think. Let's see. Pouch 40mm grenade. There you go. Meant to fit a 40mm grenade. What is this one? Pouch medical. Kind of small. Another utility pouch. Yep, utility pouch. Once again, pretty basic. Oh, hello, cat. Just wandering through. And another grenade pouch, 40mm, I'm guessing. Let's see if I can read the thing on the back. It's kind of covered up by the... Yeah, there we go. Pouch AP grenade. I guess that means anti-personnel grenade. Probably just a regular hand grenade, frag grenade. I don't know. What's this one? Yep, another one. Pouch AP grenade. This one, pouch utility small. So it's just a small utility pouch. Unlike the regular utility pouch, it does not have a drawstring. And what I got here, this is another 40mm. Yep, pouch 40mm. And last one, oh, as I throw it, just the bayonet. Pouch, knife, / torch. There you go. And yeah, the vest itself is, I do not currently have on hand. It's like in my garage. Need to clean it off. And yeah, nothing really, anything interesting. It's just open thing in there. And for a flashlight and a knife, apparently. And yeah, that is actually all of my stuff. Unfortunately, yeah, I just didn't find any space for my Pattern 82 web set and the fragmentation vest. I might just hang them up, honestly, depending on the mood I'm in, what I'm feeling. Apparently my dog needs to rub his face on his bed. My cat is lurking. I have a bunch of junk on my table. And yeah. Don't really know what else I have to say. And I guess this is going to be a long, awkward video for me to edit. You guys are probably going to fall asleep halfway through if you try to watch the whole thing. And yeah. See if I can figure something out. And in the meanwhile, I'm Xander Chiron. And you guys have a lovely day. I'll see you around. Take care now.